Creating an animated show takes a large team of people. But what if, instead of a talented team of experts, all you had were these three idiots? This is the story of Sooper Doods and how we made it, an animated comedy pilot 8 years in the making, funded with $75,000 on Kickstarter, and set to premiere right here on YouTube later this year. But how did three friends, who had no idea what they were doing, go from this to this?
So epic. Let's up some lunch.
I don't know. How? Hello everyone, I'm Matt Bruggeman, co-creator of Sooper Doods. My background is in improv and sketch comedy, more recently as an actor, writer, director, and these are my co-creators, Rob Joyner and Sean Clunan. Saying that Sooper Doods started 8 years ago, it's a little bit incorrect to say, so we actually have to go back further than that. Because Rob and I became best friends all the way back in Mrs. S. Smith's 4th grade class. Look at how cute we were. And from that moment on, we were pretty inseparable. Comedy and trying to make people laugh was always our thing, and we bonded over anything that blended heart and humor, with Scrubs being an all-time go-to show for us.
Hey, it's Dirk and JD. And JD!
Now, fast forward to 2018, when Rob and I moved to Atlanta to pursue comedy together. We were doing open mics, performing improv comedy, making weird sketches, reenacting Sia's Elastic Heart music video. Yes, you heard that last one correctly. And while we continued to grow as performers, we had always dreamed of one day making our own animated show together. The only problem was we literally didn't know how to do any of that. But being surrounded by the incredible film and comedy scene in Atlanta really inspired us to think, maybe we could actually do this if we just tried. So we tried. Now, whenever the two of us had time, we would get together, brainstorm, write, try to figure out what the show could be, and very early on, we settled on this concept of following two teachers, Max and Tucker, at a really shitty hero academy. Inspired by animated comedies we loved and the action shows we grew up on, we decided to try to mash it all together. Let's make an over-the-top comedy with emotional arcs and ridiculous fight scenes. Because if you don't know how to do something, why not try to do all of it, you know? Now at this point, Rob and I had been passively working on the show for about a year or two before we decided it was time to bring somebody in to actually start, drawing the show. Enter Sean Clunan, an insanely talented illustrator that we also grew up with. Early on, we brought him in just to do some character designs and initial illustrations, some concept art, but the stuff he sent back to us blew us away. He was diving deep into the character backstory and how that influenced all the visuals of the show, and we were immediately in love with him and that big, beautiful brain. So we started working closer and closer with Sean until he became a core member of the team in every aspect, writing and developing the show as we know it as another co-creator.
Hi, I'm Matt.
I'm Rob. And I'm Sean.
And we're the creators of Sooper Doods.
So, with the three of us now locked in, this is where the real work began. After I moved to Denver, the three of us were scattered across the country. So we took 2 regular video calls, hopped into Google Docs, we wrote virtually, broke down comparable shows, we watched a lot of YouTube videos, we would practice our writing, get feedback on scripts. We even did our own writer's retreat in the woods just to meet in person and hang out because we were bored and lonely. And at the end of literal years of development and learning, somewhere in the middle of all that chaos, a real show started to emerge.
Guys, I can't find it.
So we had settled on the show concept, we had some scripts developed, we had some art. We decided it was time to start actually casting the show with the voice actors that could help influence future scripts, influence the characters, and since improv is such a big creative influence on the show, we wanted to find voice actors who could riff and improvise to encourage this naturalistic voice acting. And for our main characters, we were so fortunate to find the perfect pairing in 2 of Atlanta's funniest improvisers, John Mangan and Mark Kendall. The 2 of them are incredibly talented in their own rights, but they also had a background working together, and we could sense that chemistry immediately. So back in 2017, I took an improv intensive at UCB New York, and there I met Michael Evans Bailing. Yes, that one, the one from CW's All-American and the sexiest man, literally the sexiest man in America. We thought it'd be wise to hide all of that sexiness in a sound booth and not show it on screen and have him voice our series villain, Casimir.
Delicious.
Then, through our incredible friends at Action Show Studios, we got connected with a couple of incredible talents, one of them being the one and only Dan Fogler. You know him from Fantastic Beasts, Balls of Fury, Fanboys, A Complete Unknown, a lot of other awesome stuff. We sent him the script, and he said yes.
There's no management in town.
We also got connected to Cooper Andrews. You know him from The Walking Dead, and again, a lot of other awesome stuff. We continue to round out the cast with amazing comedians and voice actors, but we still needed to get this thing animated. And none of us are animators, so we decided to do what a lot of indie animated projects do and beg for your money. I mean, crowdfund on Kickstarter.
Hey, Rach,
What?
not the line.
Sorry. Let me try that again. Guys, I gotta split.
Okay, she's fired.
Now, for those that are not aware, animation is very expensive. When I say very expensive, I mean like take what you're imagining and like probably 10x it. It's insanely expensive. So we decided to aim for $75,000. We figured that would be enough to pay an animator to make our proof of concept, however long that would end up being, but we needed to start somewhere. So we launched the Kickstarter campaign, and on the first day, we raised over $25,000. We were stoked. This is exactly the kind of start you need to raise an ambitious goal like $75K. But then came the dreaded mid-campaign lull. And we somehow found ourselves in a situation where, with just 5 days left to go, we still needed over $36,000 to hit our goal. So we panicked. We reached out to everyone. We begged. We pleaded. And in the final 48 hours, people really rallied. And somehow, when we finished our campaign, we had just barely crossed the finish line at $76,794.
It's go time, bitches!
Tucker, no!
Okay, so now we had the budget and we had one job. We need to find the right animator for this project and see what we can make together. That's when we found Daniel Aruda Massa. He runs his own animation shop, Damnimation, out of Sweden, and we really dug his style, sense of humor, and all the projects that he had worked on. We actually found him from some work for character designs that he did on another indie animated project that we love in Olin Rogers' Lion's Blaze. So we reached out, we pitched the show, and he got it instantly. Or at least he was kind enough to lie to us and tell us he got it so that we would pay him money. Either way, we had found our guy. And together, we decided to take a longer approach with a smaller team, but something that would allow us to make the full 22-minute pilot episode of Sooper Doods. So from there, we went through the iterative process of getting this thing animated. So over the next year and a half, we went through storyboards, then animatics, then rough cuts of animation, and every round we gave feedback and more feedback. And alongside Daniel animating, we worked with Mount Wave Music, Neil Shanai, and Jacob Garza on the sound design and music of the episode, which we think really helps amplify it. Cannot wait to share the theme song with you guys soon. And somehow, after a year and a half of working closely with the Daniel, we have a fully animated, ridiculously saucy pilot episode of Sooper Doods. It has been a long road, like, as I've outlined, years and years of work, thousands of hours, so much learning about everything that goes into this process and becoming better as a writer, director, producer. My first child got sprinkled in there somewhere. That doesn't take up too much time, don't worry about that. So what happens now? Very good question. Well, from here, I'm very excited to announce that the worldwide premiere will happen right here on YouTube, summer of 2026. In the meantime, we're dropping regular videos diving into more detail on the animation process, iterations of the pilot script, behind the scenes recording voice lines, everything that it took to bring this project to life. So if any of that interests you, please follow along, subscribe to the YouTube channel here. It is the best way that you can support and help us through this process. From the bottom of my heart, thank you guys so much for watching this and supporting us. It's truly a dream come true, and we cannot wait to share the pilot episode with you all. So please block off the entire summer, don't make any plans, subscribe, and we hope to see you all right here for the release of Sooper Doods. Thanks, y'all.